Ryan Jarrell here for MMA News, and I'm excited to have my next guest on the program. You can see him compete next on June the 8th at UFC Louisville when he takes on Brad Katona. And of course, it is Jesse Butler on the show. Jesse, how are you?
I'm great. Just finishing up training camp, last week before fight week. So it's exciting for me.
Yeah, well, we're excited to see you back in there. And I love the mustache, the curl at the end. Is that something that you're going to keep for fight night?
Yeah, for sure.
Who is the wrestler that I'm blanking on right now that had that look?
I'm not real familiar with many wrestlers. I've had several people tell me about that though.
That's immediately what I thought about it. Looks good. I wish I could grow a beard like yours. It's just not in the cards for me, but I had to address it. It looks good. So I'm glad you're going to keep it for fight night. And as we said before we started the interview here, I can't believe, it's almost June. June 8th is literally right around the corner. So camp has to be winding down. I know you've been splitting time between, home gym back in Louisiana and obviously Fortis MMA in Texas. What has that balance been like? How has this overall camp been for you?
That keeps it exciting. The back and forth because I'm used to being home and my normal training schedule there. But then when I'm over here in Dallas, I'm training with new partners. I've got different coaches coaching me, so it keeps me on my toes, and it gives you almost that butterfly effect, just like in a fight where you're at a new gym and you're sparring with new guys. And I'm here finishing up my last couple of days before I head home, and then we'll be leaving for Kentucky literally a couple of days after being home. So it's been fun. It's only 4 hours from home, but I built some good relationships here and got great training in.
Yeah, I know. I see a couple of pictures that you had with my guy Ocho, TJ Brown. I know you got Stephen Wynn there. Who have been? I guess is there someone specific maybe that you're getting more working with to get you ready for Katona?
I would just say Coach Saeed. Him being in my ear every day and me sparring in front of him, just letting him see what I've got and watching some film with him. So just the relationship I built with him over the time, and we've got some bodies here that are similar to size in Katona. So some D1 wrestlers that were all Americans, and that's some good work that I'm not going to get at home that has helped me over here. So. Yeah, and TJ Brown, he's one of my training partners back in Louisiana. We go back and forth from Arkansas and train with each other. So he's also been some help this camp.
Yeah, I just saw too. He had his year anniversary of being sober, which is really
Yeah.
amazing thing to see. I have to imagine you must see a difference in him since he's made this switch over to no alcohol, no anything. He's just substance free. What has that been like to see that transition for him?
TJ's awesome. We've built a relationship over the past year. I never knew him before that time period. I met him after the fact. He actually came over to train with us one day, and man, just we clicked right away. I feel like we've been friends forever. So TJ, we're super close now.
He's such a nice guy, man. I've had the
Yeah,
pleasure of interviewing TJ a bunch,
nice.
also Steven Peterson. You got some good people around you, man. That how important is that? Not just to have, obviously, you need the right training partners, the right coaches to get you ready for the fight, but to have solid human beings around you.
Yeah, that's huge. Just the mentalities and the energy you rub off with each other, just here and there saying things back and forth. So it does make a difference when you're at this level because all of us get in our head, all of us think certain things, and we pick each other up, and it just creates positive energy.
Can you tell me one or two things about Coach Saif Sayud as to what makes him such a fantastic coach?
It's something special for sure. You know, you don't really get to see too much of him, cornering guys and he does the breakdowns. But when you're with him in person at the gym, it's a personal level. And just from the first day that I came over here, he brought me in, uh, and since that day we've been super close. So yeah, he's such a great coach. It's hard to explain it without being there and being around it, but just know that in the gym is something special.
I'm sure he's probably been helping you quite a bit. Maybe, I guess, with your weight cut down to 135. This is the debut here at bantamweight. What's your weight at today?
Yeah, so Coach Saeed was actually the one that recommended me, hey, let's go down to 35. Let's really challenge that and have a size advantage. So I actually partnered up with Eric Pena, Macy Chazon here from Fortis, hooked me up with him, and that's Dustin Poirier's nutritionist. Awesome guy. He's helped me so much in the past, 5 months. So what the weight's good, I walk around about 156 right now, when I'm hydrated and fully fed. So super excited to make 136 and make my mark in the bantamweight division.
So you don't feel like there's going to be any issues cutting that last like 20 pounds to make sure you at least hit 136?
No, I mean it will be tough, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be grueling, but it's something I've been preparing for and ready for.
Yeah, and I was looking at your measurables too, Jesse. You and me are the same height. We have the exact same reach. I can't imagine making 135. What has that discipline been like, man? Just to stay, exactly where you need to be to make sure that you're going to cut this extra 10 pounds. I mean, you're so used to fighting at featherweight. Has it been harder mentally for you?
Yeah, I think size wise, I'm right there with Sean O'Malley. I'm not sure what his reach is. Mine's 72 or 73. So I'm right there with the champ on measurements. It's been tough, and I've been working on it since January. So, you know, 5, 6 months now of dialing it in, getting it right, trying to just learn what I can and can't do, and brought it down 10 pounds in that amount of time just to get in striking distance of where we're going. And mentally, it is tough because everything's about food, really. You eat every 3 to 4 hours. Food's everywhere you look. It's hard to distract yourself when you're training hard from the food, but at this point it's normal, and I've just made it, a part of the grind. I'll enjoy the food after the fight
Fair enough, man.
for sure.
Uh, well, I'm excited to see you make this bantamweight debut. I do want to talk a little bit about your UFC debut. Obviously, that fight was with Jim Miller. It was over a year ago now. Didn't go the way that I'm sure you anticipated it would, but I mean, you took the fight on short notice, replacing Jared Gordon. This fight was actually at 155. So, I mean, you're fighting at a weight class higher than what you're normally used to fighting at featherweight. So, is that I guess the takeaway from it? Is it just the fact that you got caught?
Yeah, for sure. I got called on Thursday, flew out that night, and made the 155-pound weight, which, I was close to that weight anyway. It wasn't a hard weight cut. But yeah, just the fact that I went up to lightweight, took that fight on 1 day notice, fought a guy with the most fights in the UFC, most wins in the UFC, and now I'm dropping 2 weight classes to make my real debut. This is where I'm going to shine and get what I'm looking for.
Yeah, so obviously taking that fight on short notice against someone like Jim Miller, that was obviously just to get your foot in the door. Did you feel like did you still feel confident though that you could go in there and beat him, or did you like, well,
Yeah.
this might be a difficult one?
Yeah, I'm always confident. If I were to fight John Jones tonight, I would be confident that I could finish him. So, take what you can out of that. I still may lose, just like I did to Jim Miller, but I'm gonna have confidence going in there because I'm trying to finish the fight all 15 minutes of the fight, whether it's submission, a knee, a punch, a kick. I'm doing whatever I can to finish the fight. So, yeah, that's my approach all the time is just the confidence that I have in myself, and I can win the fight at any time.
How difficult was it after the fight? I mean, this was your UFC debut, the first time you're getting like the world, all the MMA fans in the world, their eyes are on you, and obviously, as I said, it didn't go the way you had planned. Was it hard mentally just to bounce back, or did you kind of go into it knowing that okay, it is what it is, and I'm just going to move forward and have my real UFC debut whenever that comes?
Yeah, but both sides of it, losing sucks. I'm a competitor, so no matter who I lose to, I'm gonna be a little upset about it and hang my head. But at the same time, that same approach as it is what it is, this got me here, and now I'm gonna have my real debut on my next fight. And that was the time we needed to change the weight classes, to dial everything in, make the move over to Fortis. It all worked out just like it always does. My wife tells me that. all the time. Just, keep a positive mindset and things will work for you.
I also noticed that you had two canceled fights before this one with Brad Katona was booked. One of them was against Sean Woodson. Can you elaborate a little bit more as to
Yeah.
why both of those fights fell through?
Yeah, they booked Sean Woodson for me right after the Miller fight, and of course I took it thinking, we were good to go. And then I got the suspension call later on after that. We had not realized that would take place, so that changed a lot of things and set us back a little. And then we had taken the fight after that, and I had an eye laceration during that camp right away, so we went ahead and scratched that one and got back to hard training. So the year's time has been good, honestly. You get an ample amount of time of work in.
You must have been itching though to jump back in there
Oh
and
yeah.
get in the octagon again.
Yeah, I'm always itching because I'm training super hard all the time. So makes you want to jump right back in there.
Yeah, no doubt. Also want to ask you about other sports. I did see that you are a baseball player and you had a scholarship that you turned
Yeah.
down to chase MMA. I guess I don't know any other fighter that's in the UFC that turned down a scholarship to play one of those like the big four sports to chase this. That's amazing, man. Like obviously it worked out for you, but did you second guess yourself at all when you first made that decision?
Well, so I had scholarships to a couple different colleges that I could have gone to around hometown, that was about an hour and a half away. And just didn't want to leave. I was young at the time, 17 years old when I graduated. So I decided to stay home. And that's when I walked in an MMA gym and fell in love with it right away. I was like, okay, if I can't compete in baseball, then I'll start fighting. And from the first day I went in there, I just knew that this is what I wanted to do. And here we are now, 11 years later, more than that, almost 13 years later. So just never stopped, never quit showing up.
Well, it all worked out for you, my man. And I do see you're an Atlanta Braves fan. I'm real sorry about
Yeah.
Acuna. Uh,
Ah,
do you think, I mean, the
man.
last time he was out for the season, the Braves won the World Series. Do you think you guys can do it
Yeah,
again?
I do think so. If the pitching rotation gets back good. I think Elder's out right now, one of their aces. But if the pitching rotation is good, Acuna won't be missed too much. He is a powerhouse, but they have such a stacked lineup that I think they could still win the World Series.
Yeah.
I see the Celtics behind you. They've got an interesting. If the Mavericks do get in, that's going to be a fun series. Well, either team, but I think it's going to be Mavericks Celtics at this point.
I think so too. I love, I mean, I'm a huge basketball fan. I played a couple of years
Yeah,
in
me too.
college.
Nice.
And I love this team, but there's something that just drives me crazy about them. Like the '08 Celtics team, what with KG and Pierce and
Unreal. Yeah.
that team was amazing. And I just knew we were going to win it. This
Yeah.
team, it's like they take nights off, or if their shot's not falling, they forget how to play. I don't know. You tell me what do you see when you look at the
It,
Celtics?
like last year when they fell apart in the playoffs, just nobody really expected that. And I almost thought this year maybe the same thing would happen. They're such a powerhouse in regular season, and then they fall apart in the playoffs. But the way they're playing right now, they need to win it this year. That's how good they are. But we'll see. It's going to be an exciting series. I know the finals will be much better than these semifinals that were almost both blowouts, except for last night the Timberwolves got a game in. So
Yep.
uh, it should be fun. Should be fun finals.
Yeah, no doubt. Who do you feel like if you were an NBA GM and you could start your team with anybody in the league right now, who would you pick?
Um, I'm gonna go with Anthony Edwards just because he's so young and man, I didn't realize how good he was until this year. Watching him play in the playoffs, he passed up when they beat the Nuggets. I was like, wow, this team's for real. But I think they kind of ran out of juice, and that's what the Mavericks are doing to them. The Mavericks got some good depth with Irving and Doncic, obviously. But I'd say Anthony Edwards. He's been fun to watch.
Yeah, I could see that he'd be right up there for me. I think I may take Victor Wembanyama. That guy is an
Wimbayama. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
an alien. I don't think
I
he's a
just
human
wasn't I
being.
wasn't thinking of him just because they weren't in the playoffs. But yeah,
Right.
he had an incredible season.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, let's transition. I could talk basketball with you all day.
Yeah,
People want to talk about UFC Louisville, June the
yeah.
8th, right around the corner, man. Who are you going to have in your corner come fight night? And when will you actually be there for to set up and get ready, get adjusted for this fight?
So we'll leave next Monday, and then we'll be there. Yeah, we'll be there all fight week, and I will have my head coach Jonathan Brantley, my brother Dakota. He's supported me in all 30 of my fights. And Coach Saif will be there. So super excited for fight week. You just when you first sign the fight contract, you think it's so far away, and like you said, things just fly by, and here we are. You know, it's basically fight week to me.
Now, how far is Louisville from Louisiana?
Yeah, it's 10 hours. So my family, a lot of my family's going, so we're actually making it a road trip. We're gonna leave on Mondays, stay about 6 hours away, and then just have 4 hours the next day. It saves a lot of headache for all of us not to fly, and it's easy for us to take our all of our gear without checking bags in, things like that. So we're just gonna make it a drive because we enjoy that anyway, and we've got a bunch of people going, so we're excited about that too.
Very cool, my man. And again, Brad Katona, we know a lot about him. Two-time tough winner. He's a grinder. He's a grappler, right? That's what we've seen from him. But honestly, I felt like he was a little exposed in his most recent fight against Garrett Armfield. Garrett looked really good in there, and I guess surprised a lot of people. He was an underdog going into that fight, and got a big UD win. Did you learn anything from that fight that he had with Garrett, and maybe how it could help your game plan against Brad?
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot from that fight, and yeah, Armfield was like a plus 250 underdog for that fight. Um, so yeah, and Armfield doesn't. I mean, he hasn't had a ton of experience. He's a great fighter. Hasn't had a ton of experience though. Shorter than me, closer to Katona's size. So yeah, we learned a lot from that. And Katona may have had an off night, and everybody has those nights. So I'm expecting the best Katona, of course. But we did learn from that fight, and yeah, it was a good performance by Armfield.
No, it definitely was. But as we talked about earlier too, Jesse, you're taller, you're longer. I think you have an 8-inch reach advantage against Brad. Is that something that you feel like is going to be a major factor here in this fight?
Of course, that was the main reason moving down to bantamweight was to have all the size advantage that we could. So yeah, that's going to play a huge factor. I want to use my distance as much as possible. I want to make it look easy, land at will, catch him on shots when he's trying to come in, and open up. So I want to stick him from far away and stick him hard.
Do you think you'll be able to dictate exactly where this fight takes place? Like if you want to keep it on the feet, you'll keep it there. If you want to go to the ground and get your ninth submission victory of your pro career, you could do that too.
Yeah, and what's cool about that is I don't plan to submit any of these guys. I'm trying to just finish the fight standing, and they shoot in, and the submissions happen. So he's a good MMA fighter, as in he mixes it up well. He's got a good IQ, shoots in takedowns when he needs to. So yeah, I could easily see him shooting in and getting caught with a submission. Uh, he's good when it gets to the grappling aspect and when he shoots in. But yeah, I'm ready to submit him if I have to. I'll add to that uh submission tally.
Do you have an official prediction? Is that what you think is going to happen?
Prediction. I'll just say I want to finish the fight. That's what I'm aiming to do. I don't care how I can finish it, but inside the distance would be my goal.
Okay. Can't wait to watch, man. Last thing
Thank
for
you,
me
man.
before we get out of here, Jesse. As long as you're healthy, what is the plan? What would you like to do as far as fighting the latter part of 2024? Is one more fight make sense? Would you like to get two? What are your thoughts as far as that goes?
Yeah, I would love a quick turnaround and try to fight. Maybe September, October, right before the winter months, have one more fight and then, take a couple of months. So that will be the plan is quick turnaround, get another win and enjoy a couple of months with my family after that.
All right. Well, again, man, I appreciate your time today. Looking forward to watching you June the 8th, UFC Louisville. Before we do sign off, Jesse, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours.
Just thank you to my family, friends, and teammates who helped me grind it out. Sticking it out through the fight camp and watch me June 8th, ESPN.